Here we go, getting the water pump ready. I have just treated this with a rust treatment, and as you can see it's done the conversion in here and it's made it pretty solid. I am going to powder coat this beastie. I'm going to take this out first. I considered taping these up and not powder coating these, but as they're so pitted, whoops, I am actually going to let the powder coat fill in the holes as such. So that should hopefully help it not leak. And I've done it in there as well. Looks like that needs a little bit more flushing out. Converter's not completely gone. As you can see already, and this has only been sitting outside for like 2 minutes, it's beginning to show surface rust, but that's okay. The powder coat will definitely deal with that. Still a little damp in a few places, so I'm just going to let it cook in the sun. Unfortunately, it's the end of the day here in sunny Arizona, so it's not really hot enough for my liking. I want to get this really hot and make sure it's dry inside before I start coating it. I had considered painting it in here, but my concern is that as I'm going to be using Evans waterless coolant, it may affect it, so I don't think I'll be doing that. However, I'm quite pleased. It's looking pretty good. We will see once it's nice and dry. It won't be till tomorrow now, and I'll powder coat this at some point tomorrow. I may film it, but I know you guys have probably seen me do more powder coating than you care to. But we'll see. I may just do it anyway, and you can ignore it if you have already seen me do powder coating. Okay, that's the end of this particular section. And this is really just the shell. Feeling pretty good about this. Assembly is going to be the next fun thing. Alright, it is powder coat time for the water pump and the ancillaries. Got a few masking up pieces to do. This is done here. Obviously I don't want the powder coat going inside, so that's why they're there. On this particular part of the pump, I'm using a different tape. While it is heat resistant, as is that tape over there, that's not the reason I'm using it on here. The reason I'm using it is that I can see through it. So now I need to get my scalpel, a nice sharp blade, then I should be able to get it reasonably close. You know, it doesn't have to be spot on, but reasonably close. On my nice sharp blade. There we go. Alright, and then I need to touch it on here and do the same. Sorry if you guys didn't see that. I didn't mean to leave you out, but there are certain areas I obviously do not want powder coat on, and these mating surfaces are those. So hopefully this will work. If it doesn't, I'll do it again. There we go. So now you can see the area where I want my powder coat. I'm not sure if I should do this with scissors or a knife here. This is not so easy. There we go. And I hope that the light is good enough. I'm actually out in my little powder coating area, and the evening is drawing in. It's probably about 6:30 now, so it's getting a little dark. Okay, I'm having a little issue here, so I need to do this maybe with a pair of scissors. Oh, no, I've got it. Sorry if this is boring for you guys, but there's always the fast forward button, and you can just fast forward to where the strippers come in. Oh, what? Really? Were they cancelled again? Damn it. That's the wife. She does that. She hates me to have the strippers in. I see here the wind blowing up. That's not good. That means we're going to get some rain. This is Arizona. We don't do rain. At least the rain we get, they get really upset. Oh, we had a 1/16 of an inch of rain. Ooh. Big deal. Alright, so that's that done. I've now got to do this side. I'm really not going to bore you watching me mask up this side. Got to keep this surface clear, but I want this powder coated, so I'll be doing some trimming there. Alright, enough on that for the second, and I'll come back to you when we start spraying. Alright, you are about to witness an experiment. I don't know if this is going to work. I didn't want to bother masking up all of this because it's a pain in the ass. So I'm going to try just spraying in here. Let's see how this goes. The answer is not very well. I'm going to keep going. And we'll see how that goes. Alright, let's do the pump now. I'm having a lot of issues with this gun. I may have to complain to Eastwood. Yeah, look, it's blowing the fucking powder. Sorry guys, blowing the powder out everywhere. I think there's a leak here. Ah, damn it. It's getting darker and I'm getting more and more pissed off. Not like you couldn't tell, huh? That seal doesn't fucking work. Piece of crap. Okay, let's try it without that seal. It used to work better, so let's see. Alright, try again. Yeah, that's working better. It's not right, but it's working better. Oh great, now the powder's starting to hold itself down. Condense in the bottom of the bottle. Moving on with the water pump. Here she is, cleaned up, powder coated, ready for its new pieces. Did the pulley as well. Goes there, but of course there is that other little piece. Got to make sure I get this seal on before I press this on to the pump, and then that will be fed through here I will have to try and line this up. Got to line that hole up when I push it in. So I think this is definitely going to be a case of putting this in the freezer so that I can line it up and push it in without too much difficulty. It's a snug fit, so yeah, that should work okay. And it does have a little taper on it, so we should be good there. I did notice on this particular pulley, I can't see it now, but it had a jag number on it as well, which I thought was kind of amusing, but I can't see it now, so not going to worry about that. Alright, and just to go over here regarding the painting of the letters, I have decided to go with it. Whether you like it or not, it's individual choice. Got a couple a little bit more touch up to do on this, but I think it looks nice. Probably give this a clear coat of lacquer just to prevent the brass from fading. Alright, back to the pump. Let's get that baby pressed together. As previously mentioned, I'm going to put this in the freezer overnight. I don't think I want to eat it with any chips, so I'm going to put this in the freezer overnight, because when I put it in here, I've got to line up the hole, and the tighter it is, the more difficult it is to get it right. I can look at it and say, oh yes, you know, that looks right. That is actually a tight fit there, which of course it should be, but it's too tight for me to play and get it around. So I'm going to put this in the freezer overnight, and then tomorrow I will try and put this in, and I'll do it live. And then once that's in, then I can put the seal in, which goes in here, but of course it will actually be on this shaft here. This shaft goes in through here, and then that, sorry, trying to do this one-handed, it doesn't want to let me do it, does it? Okay, you're going to have to take my word for it. That shaft goes on there, and then the the seal goes in here. Hang on, I think I just misled you there. I didn't mean to. This is the thicker part for the pulley, so it goes on this way round. So once the shaft is in, that's the way the seal will go on. Okay, so the seal will be, sorry, this is doing it one-handed. That's the way the seal will go on. This shaft will already be in there, so then all I'll need to do is tap this seal in very carefully with a large socket, and then once that's done, then I will press this impeller on the end here. Okay, and then once that's done, then I will press this on, which is the main flange for the fan. You will see it all here live tomorrow at Gary's Garage. Alright, I'm stupid. I can't help it. You gotta have fun when you're doing this, eh? Life's too short. Enjoy life. Ignore religion. Don't care if you guys like that or not, that comment, sorry. Just, it causes too many problems. Let's just live and let live, huh? You believe what you believe, I believe what I believe, and we'll all be very happy. Alright, the evening is drawing in now. My energy is running low, so I'm still wanting to do work on my Mark II, but as I said, energy is running low. One thing I'd mentioned before that I'm definitely doing and that is to run a tap through every thread on this block. I've just done these two here, and I'm just about to do this one, and I'm going to work my way through, do every one of these, and then I am going to flush the block one more time. There are enough holes open that I can do that, and also I will do the distributor one, the oil pump housing on the side here, the timing chain threads, and then I'll flip it over and I will do everything on the bottom that needs to be done. Nothing much on this side apart from the motor mounts, which again I will do. I will run a tap through every thread I can possibly find. I don't think there's anything wrong with any of them, but it just makes life a lot easier when you're reassembling, if the threads are nice and clean and the bolts or whatever it is you're putting in are nice and clean. And that I just felt that one go nice and easy there. Lovely clean thread. Oh yes. And you know, it's worth doing. It's worth spending these few extra moments to do this. If you don't, when you're putting this together, it'll get frustrating, and why won't this bolt start? Why won't this screw in? Blah blah blah, and you will get angry with your car, and that's not good. Your car's only doing what you let it do. It's like a computer in that respect. A computer will only do what it's told to do. And all these companies turn around and say, "Whoo, the computer made a mistake." No, it didn't. It was one, the idiot putting in the information, or two, the idiot that programmed it. Neither of which is the computer's fault. It will only do what you tell it to do. Sorry, I kind of digressed there, but it's the same with threads, believe it or not, as simple as that. Thread will only do what you tell it to do. It's nice and clean, it says, okay, fine, you can screw a bolt in. If it's dirty, it'll say, haha, no you can't. Alright, there we go. I'm going to continue to do the rest of these. I won't let you watch me because that's really boring. One thing I didn't mention that I wanted to let you guys know, to try and be helpful, this tap is a 7/16, and it's a fine thread, which means the pitch is a, let me see, a 20. It is an NF20. Okay, just as I do the rest of the threads, I'll let you know what those thread sizes and pitches are, so that will be helpful to you whilst you're doing this. Alright, we're now moving on to the underside of the engine. I'm going to start with the main bearing cap threads, clean those out. They are a 1/2 inch and 20 pitch. Hopefully this is helpful to you guys. Alright, so I'm cleaning out the threads here on what is going to be where the oil pan goes, or sump, depending on your preference. The tap I'm using is a 5/16 24 pitch, and one thing, or two things really to note: you use what's called a bottom tap, and that is, it's basically got thread all the way down it, or flutes, whatever you want to call it, to clean the thread out. Reason you need to do that is, on this side it's fine because most of the holes go all the way through, so you don't bottom out and then snap the tap in the hole, which would be a bloody disaster. On this side it's directly into, or bottoms to, the oil way that runs all the way along there, and you can't go far in. You've got to be very careful when you're doing this. You must take it easy. Mostly what I do is I'll do 1, 2 turns, then back a turn, then 1, 2 and back a turn. This stops the thread from binding and snapping or reduces the odds, should we say, of snapping the tap off in the hole. Again, you don't want that. All of the holes around here, they're the same size, as I said, the 5/16 24. That includes the oil pump ones here, or the oil feed pipe ones, and also on the side here, these holes here, they're also the same size. Just make sure you clean them all out. What I tend to do as well is, once I've done each hole, I'll grab my trusty little wire brush, and then when I take out the tap, I'll just brush off the goo out of the flutes, and then once I've completed tapping every hole, I get my air gun and I blast every hole, just to try and get the crap out that is in there. Alright, that's enough lesson on that. I've told you about the other sizes. I'm about to do the motor mounts. I don't know what size they are yet, but as soon as I get the correct tap, I will let you know, and that will be in a couple of moments. Okay, the motor mount ones here, they are a 7/16 and a 20 pitch, and the one here, which I believe is for the alternator, generator, dynamo, whatever you want to call it, that is a 3/8 24 pitch. So those are the other two sizes you're going to need. And then down the front here, I believe it will also be this 3/8. Let me just check that in certain ones. Yes, it is. Okay. And then obviously these smaller ones, they go back to that other tap, which was, he says, not having a good memory, is the 5/16 24, and that's for these holes. Okay, and that also obviously applies to these holes, and then you get to the bigger sizes. Alright, I will continue to clean the rest of these threads out, and if you're looking at that kit going, wow, that's an expensive kit, it's not. It's my good old friend Harbour Freight. They are not the best quality, but they are good. They do the job. I have never had any of them break on me or had any problems with them. And obviously this isn't the metric, this is an AF set. And when I say they're not the best quality, it's this kind of thing, you know, it's kind of chunky. But nonetheless, it does the job, which is what you can ask for. Alright, once I've finished cleaning out these holes and blowing them, what are we looking at? Oh, it must be a Wookie. Looking at next, I think what I'm looking at next is just the final touch-up of the paint on the inside of the engine, the final clean-up to make sure everything's good. Then, I believe I can get the crank in. I do have one more job to do on the crank, and that is to remove the pilot bearing so that I can insert the new one. I may just take that down to Mr. AutoZone and use his tool while I'm there, rather than rent the tool, bring it home, pull out the bearing, take the tool back, get my money back. It hardly seems worth the effort. If I go down there and take the crank with me, then in theory I should be able to do it there. I like theory. Alright, that's enough on this section again, and we will move on from here. Next thing you see will probably be me getting it ready to put the crank in, checking the bearings. I also do want to check the bore before I do the crank. In other words, get the rings, put them in the bore, check the clearance. That's something I'll do. I'll video me doing it so that you guys know what the hell I'm talking about, just in case you've never done it before. Oh right, as promised, I am going to show you about checking the bores. Now, you saw me in an earlier video hone these bores out with the stones on the special spinny thing, And I have had to do a little preparation for this particular video clip, purely because there's lots involved. First, grab yourself a piston. No rings on it. Just grab yourself a piston. All will be clear in a second. Yes, look, piston fits in bore. Oh, damn, I'm sorry about my nose. It's bloody allergies. Alright, what we need are rings. Here I have a package of rings that I've received from my friends at S&G Barrett. Received, well, I gave them money, they gave me the rings. Nicely numbered, 1, 2 and 3. And that is literally from the top, middle and bottom. The bottom being the oil ring, the compression ring, and the can't remember what you call that ring now. Oh, don't know. Okay, ignore that. Anyway, it shows you where they go. There's a little picture for, you know, those of you that can't figure it out. So, open up the package, grab yourself a ring, grab yourself a set of feeler gauges. Go across to your beautiful Jaguar service manual that handily has a wrench placed in the spot you need. And if you read, it says here, compression ring, which is the top one, should be between 15 to 20 thousandths of an inch. The oil control rings between 11 and 16 thousandths. I'm not so worried about the oil control rings, I'm really not. Also, with the compression rings, there should be a 1 to 3 thousandths of an inch, and that's when the ring is on the piston and you slide the feeler gauge in between the piston ring and the piston itself. So that's something I'll check once I've fitted all the rings. It does show you here, you know, the rings, and on this one I believe, I hope you can see that right there, it says top, and here it shows you how to measure the gap. So let me take you over to the block. What you have to do is get the ring in the bore. You have to be careful of this. Don't break these rings. If you just push them in with your fingers just gently, you see how nicely it fits in. Then you take your piston, place it in upside down, and push the ring down the bore. Don't go too far, because you just want to check it, and you also want to be able to get the ring out. Then what you have to do is measure the gap between the two ends of the piston. Excuse me a second while I get a light. Hopefully you can see that. There, okay. And as you can see, there is a gap here. That gap must be, as it said, no more than 20 thou. I have measured my bore, and I can tell you it's 20 thou. It's a very tight 20 thou, but there it is, 20 thousandths of an inch. So there is no room for more. I've got a bit of paint there, I see I have to clear off. But that is it, and I did do every bore, so I am right on the limit with this. I'm kind of doing it economy-wise. I mean, it would be better if it was nearer the 15 thou, but it's not, and at the moment, budget-wise, I'm going to have to live with 20 thou. And unless I have a real major problem with the engine, that's the way it's going to stay for a couple of years, and then I will take the engine out and get it bored out and put bigger pistons in. Alright, and of course I will remove that paint. But that is what you do. And then once you've finished, obviously, you grab your ring, pull it out nice and evenly, put it back in the box, ready for putting onto the piston. So, hopefully that was of help to you. My engine's not perfect. It is right on the limit. Rather like my humour. Right. Okay, boys and girls. No, I mustn't say that. I've been told. Oh, don't say boys and girls. Guys and girls. Meine Damen und Herren. How about that? I don't know what the French is. Floozy and floozer. Okay, I'm off on a tangent again. And yes, you know what that's like. Can make your eyes water. Time to shut this section, and next will be cleaning the bore. Yeah, I'm not going to show you that, that's too boring. Fitting the crank, I think, will be the next thing. Fitting the crank bearings and the crank using lots and lots of assembly lube. Something you must do. Alright, back with the crank in the next video. I'm going to end this one here and push it out so you guys have got something to watch whilst you're sitting in the bathroom. Alright, no time for practice on this one. I have to do it live whether I want to or not. And yes, I'm in my kitchen. Why? Because that's where the freezer is. And no, I'm not going to give you any of my salmon en croûte that I'm preparing. You are just going to have to wait for that. I have here, as you can see, the water pump housing. In the freezer behind me, I have the shaft that goes in here. Now I need to put that shaft into this housing. And those of you that are faithful to me, and those of you aren't, just go and fall on your samurai, will know that I mentioned about putting my shaft in the freezer, and that can bring tears to your eyes, believe me. However, this particular shaft is for the water pump. I need to get it aligned correctly, and we're going to see how this goes. This could be a total disaster, and if it is, you ain't ever going to see it. Alright, here we go. Open freezer. Remove shaft. Make sure you get the shaft the right way round. And in this case, it is this way around. And I hope you can see how easily that slid in there. Why did it slide in so easily? Because it's cold. It's frozen, and now it's locked already. Damn it, I hope I can get this. Haha, I can't. Oh dear. We could have to do this again, Houston. Okay, I did tell you this was live. And if you don't get a good view, guys, I'm really sorry, but obviously it's important for me to do this quickly, purely because of the fact that that shaft is now getting warm. And I'm sorry you can't see what I can see. I'm just trying to get the hole lined up. There we go. There's that hole gone. There she is. There's the hole. Hopefully you can see that in there. You probably can't, but alright, now let me get this screw in here, and I am praying that the point on the end of this screw will actually come on. And again, I'm sorry for sniffing, guys. Alright, let's see if this screw will pull it round to the position it needs to be in. Oh, I don't think it has. I really don't think it has. Which means I've got to take it out and start again. Which means I've got to put it back in the freezer. Alright, let's try again. Yeah, that is just slightly off. And you can't turn it. There is nothing. Oh, again, sorry guys for all this damn sniffing. I really am. Alright, let's try knocking it out. Please accept my apologies for using pliers as a hammer. Hee. I guess that's half of the fun of this particular job. Come on, come on, come on, baby. Come on out. Come on. Damn, it does not want to come out. This is the trouble with doing this. Do I do it the other way? Do I push it through that way? Okay, I've never thought of that. That's just too clever. Oh damn it, I don't have my hammer. I'm sorry guys, I don't have my hammer. I'm in the kitchen. Damn, I'm off again. Well, it would appear that this is definitely the way to do it. From this side you can line it up so much better. Okay, here we go again. Damn, I'm just off slightly. I'm trying to do this all before this damn thing warms up. Believe me, I'm tapping that very gently. Off again. It turns as it goes in. It turns as it goes in. So you have to allow for that, which I just did. I might have to do some editing here. Okay, there she goes. There she goes. Yes. Alright, boys and girls. Oh no, I'm not allowed to say that. Guys and gals. I'll get around it somehow. Alright, so now that shaft is locked in. And now I can press the other parts on once I've tightened this lock nut down. Sorry you had to listen to so much crap there, but do understand what I was saying about the importance of putting that shaft in the freezer to spite your wife's objections. If she really gets pissy, put it in a Ziploc bag. She can't complain about that. And if she does, it's time you had another wife. Okay, I'm on number 3. What can I tell you? Alright, that's in there now, and that feels beautiful, even though the damn thing's cold. Now, my next phase is to press on the hub on the front and the impeller on the back, and I'll show you that in the next section. Next piece on the water pump saga. I have some sealant here, and whilst I probably do not need to put it on here, I'm going to. I really don't want to have to take this thing apart. Is it something that would normally have a sealant on it? Definitely not. But I'm putting it on there, just a little smear to smear. Smear it round, good old smear. Not too crazy. Oops, give me a second here. I need to wipe my finger. Hey, go away, phone. Alright, so there's just a little bit on there. Now that goes over the shaft here and slides nicely down there. Then, using a 27mm socket, you realise you've forgotten the hammer. Kind of an essential piece of equipment for this. We'll grab the baby hammer. Okay, that looks good. Just going to give it a last little. And for those of you that are wondering why I lifted it up, I didn't want the shaft to be hitting the bench. I just wanted to make sure I was pushing the seal onto the body, and that would appear to be it. Alright, next will be to press the impeller on there, and then once I've pressed the impeller on there and it's feeling very impressed, I'm sorry, I can't help being stupid. I was born that way. What's your excuse? And then I will be pressing that on there. All of which will follow in the next episode of Gary's Garage. Just a little addition. The hex here is a 1/8 hex. Hey, 1/8. And in case you're interested, the sealant I used here was a special gasket maker water pump and thermostat housing sealant. That way I figured it's not going to be affected by water. This now, as you can see, is in there. Obviously runs very smoothly. This lock nut is now tightened down. Next stage, as I mentioned before, is to press on the pulley this side and press on the pump shaft this side. Alright, just wanted to throw that in case any of you were in the least bit interested. Not quite sure how this is going to work out. I need to press this on, and I mustn't jam this. So I've got the shaft resting on this piece here. We'll see how it goes. This could be a mistake. I have had this here in the freezer getting cold. I'm going to get to a point on this where, having pushed it on, it will stop. And when that happens, as it has just happened, then I need to leave the tension. And okay, it worked out. As you can see, that is now level. That's perfect. The next trick is to get the impeller on over here. And again, this has been in the freezer, and I want to make sure I get this baby central, because if you get this thing skewed, it ain't gonna do you no good. Now, I know not every one of you out there has a press like I do. I work on cars a lot for shits and giggles, and so I buy tools that I may only use once or twice, just don't tell the wife. And if you don't have the tools to do this, go to the local engineering shop. They will do it for you. I hope you can see that that is getting pressed on, and as soon as it reaches its limit, because this piece here will hit the shaft, oh no, that's as far as I can go. And I'll feel it in the press, like I just felt it. And look, she still spins great. She, yes, I refer to my vehicles as she, and anyone out there that doesn't like it, too firkin' bad. I have just rebuilt this pump. I have the flange on and ready for the fan. I have the impeller on, ready to pump water around. I have powder coated this. I may even go into doing this. Maybe if you guys want to get this done, I haven't got a clue what they charge for these things on eBay or other sites, but I'm a Jaguar enthusiast. If you are, you send me all the parts, maybe we could come to some kind of agreement. Who knows? Maybe not. But I am now very happy. I have a totally rebuilt water pump And what it cost me is $46 plus shipping. And I have my core here. I'm sorry, if you want to do it, it's going to cost you more than $46. You buy the shit, maybe I charge you $50 to do it. And then shipping. So, hey, who knows? Maybe that's an option. Not something I plan on doing, but now I know I can do it. So, I don't know, $46 for your parts, shipping to me with your core, $50 in labour. I'll clean it, powder coat it, put it back together. Who knows? Oh dear, sorry. You were probably looking at the sky then. Sorry guys. There you got my verbal. Alright, just to show you guys, really not sure how much of my last video came out until I look at it. This is it. I have cleaned it up, blasted it, powder coated it, and put in the rebuild kit. I'm not sure if I covered it, but there is actually a seal in here. You just can't see it. Pardon me. And there's a seal in here. The impeller is new and improved. It washes whiter than anything else you have ever seen. It is all ready to go. Next thing to do with the gasket is put it on the engine. But pourquoi the engine is not ready? True. Unfortunately, my cylinder head is over in Scottsdale being machined. And I received a call today to say, hey, guess what, Gary? These valve stems guides are original. Wow, that's good news. No, it's not. They're worn out. So they're going to replace all of the valve guides. They're going to cut all of the seats, valve seats in. I just need to lap my valves in because I can do stuff. They are going to cut out all the rusty waterways. Once they have cut out all the rusty waterways, they will weld up all of those waterways on my cylinder head, which I will show you in a later video. The owner has taken pictures, so I'll be inserting those in my video. Once they have finished welding in, they then skim the head. Actually, I'm probably not sure of the sequence. That's their trick, not mine. Put it this way. They are going to weld up cut out the waterways, weld up the waterways, cut the waterways back to where they should be, and then skim the head. They're also going to do the valve guides and the valve seats. From what I understand from these guys, they know their shit when it comes to Jaguar heads. And although I have not got the head back yet, they seem kind of good. And wherever you are in the good old US of A, my favorite country in the world, you may wish to send your head to these guys. I will tell you later, once I've got the head back, who they are, what I think of their work, and then we will take it from there. I will not tell you what it's costing me to have the work done, because that would be very unfair to them. Each cylinder head is different. Mine required a certain amount of work. Yours may require more. I can't tell you. And all I can say is the two guys there One is called Bill, and he is a genius when it comes to working on heads. And then there is Dave, who is the owner, Dave, who is the owner, and he is also a genius. There's a pair of geniuses in Scottsdale, Arizona, fixing aluminum Jaguar heads. Yes, they do others, but as far as I'm concerned, these guys are the bomb. Oh dear, how did I manage to say that kind of shit? Anyway, they're good. So, just want to leave that there. I promise you, once I get my head back, tell you if they're good or if they're bad. I have no affiliation to them whatsoever. It's just, I'm having work done there. It was a recommendation, which is the thing that I believe is the best, rather than just searching for someone on the internet and then hopefully getting lucky. I have been told these guys are good. I've taken my head there on that recommendation. We will see. And believe me, I'm a picky ass motherfucker.